Now here's a wrapless, custom-made Douglas Moore that even the cue maker didn't want to let go of. True story. For those of you that follow my page, you know that we have a very close, tight-knit relationship with Douglas Moore. Doug makes just about everything you see on a pool cue right in the shop. Besides the bumper and the pin, you name it, he made it. And Doug, just like every good cue maker should be, before anything, he's a really good pool player. And there's an occasional cue that he'll make, and he'll make it, we'll talk about it, and then all of a sudden, I don't hear anything. Weeks, sometimes months go by, and I got to ask him, why are you hiding it from me? And that's exactly what you've got right here. And admittedly, this has been here at Crossroad Cues for over a week. And I've been very reluctant to do an individual posting on this cue because the playability, in my opinion, is as good as you're going to get. And I will back that up with a no questions asked, money back guarantee. Now, what makes it so special, besides the fact that Doug Moore made it? Doug and I are close friends. We work well together. We are his official online dealer. And you'll notice that when we sell Douglas cues, you don't see them pop back up real often because for the money, you can't go wrong. This is officially our deal of the week, by the way. Before I get into all the details, I will let you know that we're going to do this cue at only $14.75 plus shipping. Loaded with inlays, loaded with some good wood. And I'll tell you about the engine under the hood here in just a minute that makes this a real driving force. So what you have here, you have highly figured curly maple, obviously on the nose, and then you've got highly figured curly maple on the butt over here. The handle, which is really, really, really interesting looking, I'll try to zoom in there for you a little bit. That is Redwood Burl, some fine quality by the way, that has been dyed and stabilized. Doug does the stabilization process right in the shop, by the way, doesn't send his work out. Nothing wrong with that. Many great cue makers don't stabilize their wood because they don't have time for it. They don't have the equipment for it. They're too busy coring and turning down shafts and doing finish work. Doug, who's got a lot of time on his hands because he makes pool cues full time. He doesn't work a day job. When he gets up in the morning, he makes pool cues. When he goes to bed at night, he finishes up making pool cues. Full-time cue maker, and his work speaks for itself. So highly figured curly on the front and the back. Really neat looking stabilized Redwood Burl dyed black on the handle. And then you have a super joint. So this is one of the key components right here to why this cue plays so good. This cue is a cord, by the way, and I'm going to get into that with you in just a minute. So super joint is aircraft aluminum that is sleeved with phenolic. Don't ask me why it works, but for some reason, it just gives you a very, very, very solid, consistent hit. Very solid, naturally lower deflection. Just about every one of his cues that I've sold with a super joint has stayed with its owner, and you just don't see him come back up. How about that curly, though, huh? Look at that. Finish looks like glass. So this cue is actually fully cored all the way through with a Purple Heart core. Doug said this is the first one he's done that way. All the way through. There's no A-joint connection. There's a core of Purple Heart. You can see it at the joint right here. And then it goes all the way through the cue. For those of you that are not familiar with coring processes, and I'm no expert by any means, I'm not a scientist nor an engineer, but I will tell you that the reason why they do the coring process the way that they do is because it's for, number one, it's for stability. So when you have the cue cored, there's a really good chance that the cue is going to stay straight. Wood can move, especially around that A-joint connection. You've got wood that can move. A lot of times handles have to be replaced or worked on. They also do it for weight, for balance. And what I'm finding out from talking to some of the best cue makers in the world when you're dealing with these Purple Heart cores, it simply makes the cue play better. That doesn't go to say that cues that are cored with maple play any worse. It's all subjective, in my humble opinion. And I've been experimenting with a lot of cues lately that are cored with Purple Heart. That wood simply plays good. Now, when you're dealing with some dense, different kinds of wood, they'll core with maple. Some people core with Padauk, Red Heart, and so on and so forth. But for all practical purposes, any cue maker that has gotten into coring with Purple Heart usually sticks with it. So there you go. Fully cored all the way through for weight control, for balance, for stability, and above all, the playability. Ring work going all the way through that. Look at the amount of inlay work in this cue. For under $1,500, you're not going to find any better in the country. I should be a few $100s higher, and I shouldn't actually be selling this cue because it hits so good, but I want somebody to enjoy it, as does Doug. It comes with 2 custom-made Douglas Moore shafts, of course, with the matching ring work, 1 maple shaft. The shaft that is maple is 3.9 ounces, 13 millimeter, and then you've got a custom medium roast Douglas Moore Evolution Kielwood shaft. This shaft is also 3.5 ounces, 12.8 at the tip with the low deflection ferrule, and then you've got the Ultra Skin Fire tips. I have personally switched almost my entire game all the time over to Kielwoods. I love the feel of a regular maple shaft, but I love the accuracy and the solid hit of the Kielwood. These are 29 inches apiece, by the way. The butt is also 29 inches, so you've got 58 inches total. The butt weight on this cue is right at 15 ounces. So right at 15 ounces, very forward weighted. That's one of the things I love about the way this hits. Forward weighted, not extreme, where it's going to go like that. There's your balance point right here. Nice forward weight, fully cored with Purple Heart, Douglas Moore custom cue, only $14.75 plus shipping. Check it out at crossroadcues.com, or you can give me a call, send me an inbox. I know a lot of you out there have purchased several Douglas Moore cues from me, and many of you, like myself, like to collect them and play with them. Doug just keeps getting better and better and better. So kudos to the man working in the one-man shop in southern Indiana named Douglas Moore for yet another beautiful wrapless, slick-handled cue available at Crossroad Cues.